All right, in this video, we are going to take a look at how to create sheets and placing views on sheets. I'm going to start again on my View tab for this, and I'm going to go to the Sheet command. I'm going to click on Sheet, and it is automatically going to prompt me to select a title block for the sheet. Now, you guys are only going to see the E1. I had to load the D22 by 34 separately because I'm having some loading family issues with my computer right now, but I'm going to show you guys the process of how you would load it in. So the D22 by 34 is what we're going to use for this course. So you're going to hit, when you open this up, you only see the E1, you're going to hit load. And you're going to navigate to, it's automatically going to put you into the Revit library. Again, my link is messed up, so you will not have to do this part. All right, so you're going to end up in a folder structure just like this. All right, so you're going to scroll down to title blocks, and then you're going to select the D22 by 34, and you're going to load it into the project. All families are project specific, so they do have to be loaded into the project every time. All right, so you're gonna have to do this for every assignment, which is good practice to remember it. All right, so I'm gonna load in a D2. You would hit open. I would not going to because I'm gonna get an error, but you would hit open right here, and then your screen would look just like this, and you would have the 22 by 34. Okay, so then I'm gonna hit OK, and Revit is automatically going to create a sheet for me. Okay, so the sheet is where we're going to put all of our views. It's where you are going to generate the sheets for assignments. And when you get into the workforce, it's where you would put together the documentation for this becomes your set of drawings. So you can see on the project browser, similar to when we're creating views, when we create a sheet, it's now going to be listed down here in our project browser. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make 3 sheets. You can make as many sheets as you want. And you can also make as many views as you want. All right, so you're definitely not limited on that. There's some Revit files that I've worked in that are very extensive and large, and some that are small. So just keep that in mind. You can make as many views as you need to in order to be efficient in building and modeling. Similar to the views, there is some information here that is linked between the project browser and the title block. I'm going to go ahead and update this to I100. You'll notice that automatically update and resorted itself alphabetically. I'm also going to give this a name. Let's call this all right. And then I'm going to go to each of these and do the same thing. Actually, let me go back here. All right, so these two are individual, they're instance parameters. So they are going to be sheet specific versus this one, which is a type parameter. So that means that once I input this information once, these top two are going to populate on every sheet, whereas these need to be input per sheet. So you'll see what I mean by that when I go to A102. My name and homework 1 is already there. Versus these two, they're going to be sheet specific. And that might be a really good time to abbreviate. All right, so you'll notice here too, again, those two that are sheet specific are updating here on the side. I can also, if I don't want to open that sheet, I can update that here. All right, so now I have all my sheets labeled. Let's go ahead and take a look at how I pull a view on my sheet. So to do that, all I'm going to do, it's really simple, is click on the view I want to pull onto the sheet. I'm going to hold down, so I'm not releasing my mouse button. I'm going to hold down and drag, and then I'm going to release it. And when I release it, I get a preview, but I still need to click to place. So I'll go ahead and click here to place. Now, if we take a look at this, I'm just clicking and dragging right now. So you can navigate a view around on sheet location pretty easily with that. The sheet title, view title, is independent from the view itself when it's on a sheet. And you'll see also that this level 1 corresponds to this name here. All right, so if I want to change that, I can change it by clicking once on the view and just clicking into that box and typing. When you get this, would you like to rename corresponding level and views? Say no. If you said yes to that, what would happen is your level 1 here would get renamed as well. So you can always go back and undo that or rename it, but just save yourself the step and say no, you just want it to rename that view. So you'll notice that that did update on the project browser. If I have another view, let's bring on this enlarged view here, that I also want to rename that one. I can also do it in the project browser itself, right click, rename, and I can name that here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the adjustment on the scale. It will make more sense when it's on the sheet. So if I adjusted the scale here, you can see the size of that, adjusting from the 1/8 to the 1/4, you can really see the size of the scale adjustment here. If I did want it to be that full view to be a quarter, you'll notice now that this view titled, the length did not adjust with that. So if I want to adjust that, I need to click on the view once, not a double click, because I'll show you what happens with the double click here, but just one click on the view. You'll see these little blue dots get highlighted, and then I can click and drag to pull that out so that it matches the view. If I were to change this back, you'll see that again, that line does not adjust. So I need to click once and then to drag that blue dot back over. Now, if I want to move the view title independent from the view, again, I need to select that view title independently as its own element, and then I can move that around. Not that it would go up there, but just so you can see. Okay, now you'll notice when I'm hovering on this view, I'm just able to select the view itself, but you can actually work on the model from view sheets. So if I want that to do that, I'm going to want to activate the view. So two different ways to do that. One is select the view, and you'll see up here at the top, it says activate view. You can see how everything else is grayed out, but everything that's within the view is still normal. So I can activate it that way. If I delete this window, or let's see this door, you can see the door here. If I select that door, you'll see it highlight in the other view. If I delete it, it's going to be deleted from the model. So just because it's on a sheet does not mean it is not a live model view. Okay, so it's still very much a model view and you can still make modifications to the model from it. If I want to deactivate the view, I can right click and say deactivate. Another way, and this is the way that I use, is it tends to be faster. If I double click, it's going to take me to activate the view. And then to deactivate, I double click outside of the view. Okay, so double click. If I double click here in the view, it's not going to do anything. As soon as I go outside the view, okay, double click, I'm in the view. You can see the gray, double click outside, and it's deactivated. All right, let's pull some interior elevations on here. And you see that guide there, Revit's trying to help me line these up so that they are nice and clean and tidy. And it looks like we're a little bit full on this building, so I'll just leave it with those few. I'm gonna line this up as well, so I'll pull that title down. And there we go. This is a little bit messy, but it'll do for the example. So there are our floor plan and interior elevation views on a sheet. Same thing would go for the section, just drag and drop. And now let's take a look at 3D views and how I can't spell or type. Okay. So for this, I am going to pull on the two 3D views we made. So we have our default 3D view, whoa, which looks like it's pretty big. I'm going to double click and I'm going to hide this. We're going to talk about visibility graphics a little bit later on, but for now, I'm just going to grab that level, right click and say hide in view. I'm going to go ahead and hide the category. And so that's going to hide all the levels in the view. I'm going to deactivate that view. You can see how much smaller the extents of the view are. So I'm going to deselect that and I want to move this title up. So remember, one click on the title itself. I'm going to pull it up there. Now I need to adjust the length of this. So I want to select the view. So I see that blue dot and then I can adjust that as well. So I'll go ahead and move this over. The 3D view, the axonometric or the default 3D view also has a scale. So if I wanted to change the size of this on the sheet, I would do so with the scale. And that's going to be different from the camera perspective view, which I'm going to bring on here. All right, you'll notice when I click on this, there is no scale. So to change the size of this, what I'm going to have to do is select the view and go up to size crop here on the top ribbon. All right, now if I adjust the size of this crop as is, it isn't going to scale it up at all. It's just going to adjust the crop region, or what they're calling here as the field of view. So what I mean by that, if I put this at 16 inches and I say apply, you can see that it just widened my view. It didn't actually scale up the size of my view. So to do that, I'm going to change that back to it was approximately 10. Just going to make that round. Whoops. I hit enter. Go back into that command here. So instead, if I want this to be 16 inches wide and I want it to scale up, I don't want to change the extent of the view. I just want to scale up the size of the view. I'm going to hit scale, lock to proportions. All right, now when I hit 16, it is going to calculate the height for the other one. I hit apply and it changes the size of my image on the sheet. All right, view title's now on the way, so I'm going to click and drag that down here. And there you go. Should note here that once we put these views on the sheet here, those interior elevation tags updated. See how these now have a number, 3, 4, and 5. So that corresponds to this number here, 3, 4, and 5 for our drafting purposes. Same thing goes with the callout, and when the section goes on a sheet, these will update as well. But you'll notice the callout now has numbers, calling out view 2, which we see here, view 2, and then the sheet number 101, which should be I-101. There we go. All right, so that is how we put views onto sheets and adjust them on the sheets.